ACMi productions are only made possible with your support. Visit patreon.com/ACMi to learn how you can help.
The third No Kings protest brings residents out to Mass Ave. The Caribbean Student Network at Suffolk University throws a fashion show, and we listen to poetry celebrating heritage and womanhood. From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered, giving you stories that count from people who care. Reliable, trustworthy, dependable. This is the nationwide award-winning ACMi News.
Hello everyone, I'm Josh Gishri.
And I'm Paul Werlin. Welcome to today's edition of ACMi News.
The No Kings protest started at 10 a.m. on March 28th. I joined hundreds of residents outside the Unitarian Universalist Church to experience the protest firsthand and see what Arlington had to say. We're here at the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church for the third organized No Kings protest. Over 700 protesters took to the streets on a chilly March morning as part of a national resistance movement against the current administration in Washington. Organizers and advocates gave speeches, performed songs, and rallied Arlington residents with chants across Mass Ave. This instance of the No Kings protest was put together as a joint effort by the Church, Defending Democracy Working Group, and Indivisible.
Indivisible is a nationwide group with local chapters that is dedicated to nonviolent protests. And that really is it. When you sign up to attend an event, you have to basically say that you will commit to nonviolence. We partner with many state and local organizations. Luce is a big partner of ours, and also Lexington Alarm and other local groups.
So I want us to take a moment. Perhaps the stories of Passover and Easter aren't your stories, that's okay. Perhaps they are. But I want you to take a moment to think of a story or a person that has inspired you, that has kept hope alive in hard times for you. It could be someone you know personally, could be someone you read about, it could be a headline that flashed on your phone. But who or what draws you forward? Who helps you build the political strategies we need? Who helps you knock down the pillars of tyranny and build up the structures of liberation and love?
Reverend Stevie Carmody read a letter sent in by State Representative Sean Garbely, who was unavailable to attend. In the letter, Representative Garbely said, "Your activism today is essential for working to make sure our democracy continues. Today, we join millions across our country to make it clear that we will not be silent." In addition to Garbely, State Senator Cindy Friedman and State Representative Dave Rogers gave speeches.
I mean, the rule of law is being tested. All of our institutions are under attack. And people aren't going to take it anymore. And I think, as I said in my remarks, I think the tide is turning. I think that, and not just among Democrats or progressives or whatever, but I think a lot of independent voters and even some Republicans, they've seen enough, they've had enough. So I'm here to stand up and lend my voice and be with the people I represent because, we have to protect our democracy and the rule of law. Look at all the people honking their horns as they drive by. I mean, there's just been, for an hour straight, everyone honking and encouraging. Because what happens is people get despairing. People get disillusioned. People think society is fragmenting and there's no hope. And the truth is, when people are visible, when people come together, when they see their fellow neighbors standing up, it gives them courage to stand up. So there's strength in numbers. And also, the other side, folks who've supported for whatever reason, what's going on in Washington, they have to see that their friends and neighbors are deeply concerned. And so on so many levels, it really does make a difference. I'm proud to just be one more voice out here standing alongside everyone else.
Keep marching.
Keep marching.
Because your ancestors are all the proof you need that progress is possible, not guaranteed. It will only be made if we keep marching.
Keep marching.
Keep marching on.
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 Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Protesters showed off their handmade signs and joined each other in song. But one protester caught my eye immediately, and I had to ask what drove him to be there.
Well, even as a frog, I know what's right and wrong, and this is the right thing to do today, even from a frog's perspective. This is a dark time and a sad time for a lot of people, but we also need to maintain a little hope, a little fun, and welcome people, particularly younger people. Hopefully, this feels non-threatening and this feels inviting so that we can celebrate with our communities, all members of our communities.
No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all.
People need to step up, and if we don't, we won't have a democracy anymore.
And as long as people continue to step up, ACMi will be there to showcase your activism.
Arlington's Chamber of Commerce held its third annual Health and Wellness Expo at Arlington High School. The Chamber brought together a range of fitness professionals, holistic practitioners, and wellness coaches to help individuals and families explore ways to live healthier, more balanced lives.
Arlington has so many health and wellness related businesses that about 3 years ago we decided to put together an expo. This is our third year, our second year at the high school. We have 35 exhibitors covering a wide range of health and wellness categories.
We are a women's wellness studio, and we have yoga, strength, and Pilates classes. We also have workshops and education, all for women, every age and stage across the lifespan. And we're really excited to be here. We're excited to be part of the Arlington community, and we're hoping to just reach as many women as possible to help promote wellness and self-care. I know Arlington as a community. I really love it. I have a lot of friends that live in this community, and we also have a lot of programming for moms, new families, pregnant women, as well as perimenopause and healthy aging. And so I felt like Arlington was a really good place to open Juno, because there are people of all stages. There's new families, there's people who are interested in healthy aging, so it just felt like a really good community.
We're an all-female doctor practice at Arlington Chiropractic right in Arlington Center. And we're excited to be here today at the Expo, surrounded by other health and wellness enthusiasts, promoting what we do and just out in the community looking to help as many people as we can, and just happy to be here.
We have classes at different senior centers where we help members who practice feel their body and connect to their breathing and relax their mind and just feel better overall. We also teach children mind-body classes to help them also focus better, improve their emotions, regulate their emotions, and get along better with each other. So we have a lot of opportunities to go out into the community to teach our practice so that there's a little more harmony within oneself and with each other.
So my business is a to-go gourmet meals, and it's like the good alternative of a restaurant takeout, but healthier. So I was at the wellness in Winchester a couple of weeks ago, and I met a few ladies from Arlington, and they told me about it, and so that's why we are here 2 weeks later. We are based in Winchester, on 585 Main Street called the Bar Chef. But we also have a pickup location called My Friends, which is like across the street from Bremen's liquor store on the Arlington-Lexington line.
It's heartwarming to see how many local businesses are focused on our health and well-being.
Streetwear meets island time on the Suffolk University runway. The university's Caribbean Student Network invited local designers to showcase their fashion lines on student models.
First and foremost, I just want to thank God for everything that's going on right now. It's been Friday and all y'all came out, so thank y'all for doing so. We've done a lot of work over the last couple of months, and I thank y'all for just showing out, being part of this community, and just wanting to enjoy this with us. Everything has been a lot through the whole couple times we've been going through this. Days, nights, just all of us together trying to figure stuff out. But I thank y'all for showing your faces, thank y'all for enjoying this with us. And I hope you guys enjoy your time at the Art of the Caribbean.
The Caribbean Student Network at Suffolk University hosted its highly anticipated urban collective fashion show titled The Art of the Caribbean. The designers had booths in the lobby of Suffolk's Law Building, talking to attendees about their brands and selling their unique designs, some of which were on display at the main event, the runway.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out once again. Thank you for being part of this community, and thank you for just being around. Thank you for DJ Skinny. He's also our advisor as well at Suffolk. So he's done a lot for us with this whole thing. Thank you to all the brands who came out, whose brands actually walked in the stroll, whose brands who were just vendoring, anybody who was just doing hair, anybody who was just doing makeup. Thank you for every bit of knowledge, every bit of growth that you did with us. And last but not least, I want to thank God for everything. Just Good Friday, once again, thank y'all all for coming out. Thank you all for giving this blessing of just being part of this community.
And true to Caribbean culture, the night was not complete without a little partying. We'd like to give a special shout out to ACMi intern Francisca Beduya. Congratulations on walking your first runway, and thank you for introducing us to the Caribbean Student Network.
Two bills have been introduced to the Massachusetts State Senate and House of Representatives, which would change the way community media programming receives funding. House Bill 91 and Senate Bill 2556 aim to alter the structure of fees that community access stations like ACMi receive. On March 30th, ACMi's President of the Board of Directors, John Leone, and ACMi's Executive Director, Norm McLeod, proposed a letter of support to be sent from Arlington Select Board to the offices of our local legislators. President Leone explained the impact that the two bills might have for ACMi and all community access stations.
There is currently in front of the state the two bills, I believe, to change the way fees are accessed against streaming services. Right now, as you know, ACMi and every other cable station in the state gets our funding from a 5% mandate from the FCC on cable bills, which leads to our problem with finances. With streamers cutting the cord, they're now going strictly over the internet. What this bill does and proposes is to tap those streaming services with a likewise 5% fee on any streaming service that's provided over the internet, basically recapturing the cord cutters. These services are using the town streets and poles, which is the reason for the cable 5% fee, because they're using the airways over, well, the streetways and over the towns, and the town gets its money from that. So we're asking that this provide the same for the streaming services. By some rough calculations that Norm did, if he was able to log on, it could mean between $75,000 and $100,000 a year for us, which would go towards us making up some of the $200,000 to $300,000 we've lost from cord cutters.
Thankfully, as was pointed out during the Select Board meeting, our representatives have backed similar bills in the past, and their interest seems to align with us at this time.
In the same meeting, Arlington was also introduced to its 5th Poet Laureate. She shared a bit about herself and how the arts stimulate economic development.
First, I've been here almost 10 years after a long time in Lexington, and I really prefer Arlington. It's a town I've come to really love, and it's a really good town for the arts. So I'm really proud of all of you and other people in the town. And one of the things about my work is I'm really fascinated by history and by local history. So I have written poems about Arlington. I will read one tonight. And I have a long one about the herring run. It's in my 4th book, and 2 that take place during COVID, and then one that's about the Battle of Monotony. And it's so lovely that this is a group where I don't have to explain what monotony is.
And we wouldn't be introducing a Poet Laureate without giving you a sample of her work. Let's listen to Teresa's piece fittingly titled, The Battle of Monotony.
When I saunter to the mailbox in miserable sun, a woman stares at the stone marker by my fence. Sight of the house of John Cutter set on fire during the British retreat of April 19th, 1775. Dogs piss on it. A traffic box cautions walkers at the crosswalk. Wait, wait, wait. Ambushed by 4,000 militia, the Brits torched houses and barns during the day's bloodiest fight. Royal bayonets gutting Jason and his friends at the Jason Russell House across the street. In 3rd grade, I fell in love with glossy books about the founding fathers, the women in bonnets churning butter in barrels, that righteous hunger. What did I know of myths and facts? The Russells and their kind owned servants, some diaries say. Now our town fights over low-income housing. Jazz on the Russell House lawn, pop-up beer gardens and tents, the annual battle reenactments. Nearby, in the old burying ground, unmarked graves of redcoats and the enslaved. Where is Kate, owned by the Russells? Rose and Venus by the Cutlers. Underground radar might locate bones, the way it finds water and sewer pipes. Black soldiers battled here. Ishmael, Cato, Cuff. I open the hot mailbox to town taxes, Viking tours, and the ACLU wanting my vote. A fall leaf drops.
If you want to discover new recipes and receive in-person guidance from a professional chef, the Council on Aging is at your service. Every month, the COA offers a cooking demonstration with a certified instructor who won't just talk you through a recipe, they will let you sample it too.
Sanjan Nankarni, the local owner of Infused, stopped by the Council on Aging to offer her monthly cooking class. In this session, she walked participants through the making of a chana masala.
We're going to start with vegetable oil, okay? We have cumin seeds here, okay, that we are going to add whole cumin seeds. Then I'm going to add an onion and stir fry that till the edges of the onion start to caramelize a little. And now I'm going to turn the heat low because we're going to add those powders and we don't want to burn them. But I'm going to start with the ginger here, and then we will have chana masala powder. So I've measured 2 teaspoons of this in here. So half a teaspoon of the turmeric and half a teaspoon of the chili powder. The tomato paste, I have pre-measured it, and the tomato puree in there. Right now I'm going to start with just a teaspoon of the salt, and I think that should be. And so I'm going to stir this all together, and now the key is letting this cook down for about 10 minutes, okay, on low heat. This doesn't have to be measured. All I'm doing is adding some chickpeas and mashing them. Meanwhile, I'll chop the cilantro and the rice. By the way, I said 2 minutes and I shut it off after 2 minutes, okay, so the rice is done.
If you're interested in getting the full recipe or attending a class, check out the Council on Aging's website.
Boy, that chana masala really looks delicious. I might just have my menu set for tonight.
On Thursday, March 5th, the 840-846 Mass Ave Tenant Association announced that all 59 apartments in their building had been purchased by the Housing Corporation of Arlington and will be converted into permanently affordable homes for current and future residents. The victory comes after 6 years of organizing and legal conflict that began when the last corporate developer proposed rent increases of 50 to 80% for many long-term tenants. I had the privilege of sitting down with Laura Frost, the head of the tenant organization, to discuss rent control, the struggles of not owning property, and what it took to fight back.
Rent control means that your life can be more predictable. I mean, it means you can plan because you know what's coming. When rent control is put in place, then you know what the percentage of increase is likely to be, and it allows you to plan your finances and sometimes plan your life.
This last instance where you have just successfully won with your property, there was a 6-year period where you were going through this issue. What did that look like on the inside?
Oh, goodness.
Not to scare you, again, the flashback sort of was.
It brings back nightmares. No, from the inside, it was a 6-year process. It wasn't a continuous battle all the time, but it was continuous stress. Because when your housing situation is uncertain, and I was leading a tenant group that was opposing huge increases. They doubled some people's from a property developer that acquired the property we were living in. It's their apartment buildings and a house. And they were, in some cases, doubling people's rent per month, overnight. And so that's a very stressful thing to face. There were many times when I felt like I might be leading them over a cliff. They're adults, so they were making decisions, and I did the best I could to present them with all of the information I had. And I read and read and read about tenant rights on mass.gov and landlord requirements on mass.gov. And then I aligned us with City Life, which is a nonprofit in Boston that helps tenants with landlords, and they're used to this kind of fight. So we had a mentor from there, but you have to do your own fighting. They'll guide you, but you got to do it yourself. There were people who said to me, well, why don't you just leave? First of all, I like Arlington. I'm very happy in Arlington. And secondly, I think what they're doing is wrong. So both of those things incline me to fight it. And I didn't want to see the other people get evicted either.
Hear more insights from experts on housing like Laura in a forthcoming series by ACMi. Global Voices in Verse is a monthly poetry meeting that takes place at the Fox Library. Attendees are encouraged to share their favorite poems regardless of language. March's event was titled Dihati Fagua, Holy Folk Songs, and jointly celebrated the Festival of Color, Women's Day, and the traditions of rural India.
So Global Voice in Verse is a monthly poetry platform, and it started last year with the support of Arlington ACSC Council and MCC, Massachusetts Cultural Council, and now Arts Arlington also. They published our story, so all these three platforms supported us. And the idea is to bring everyone to read a poem in a different language, in any language from any part of the world, and from their favorite poet. And the main idea was to bring the non-academic, non-English and non-poet people to enjoy the poetry and to connect with each other in Arlington or outside of Arlington, Greater Boston, through the poetry, to learn the culture through the poetry, to learn our history through the poetry. Like Rani Lakshmibai, the poem of Queen of Jhansi, was our history.
झांसी वाली रानी थी, रानी गई सिधार चिता, अब उसके दिव्य सवारी थी.
ओढे गृहबासी खोल द्वार खोल, लागलो जे दोल, स्थले जले বনতলে, लागलो जे दोल, দ্বার খোল, দ্বার খোল.
Pero yo estaba hecha de presentes, y mis pies, planos sobre la tierra provisoria, no resistían caminar hacia atrás.
झूले पलना, मोर मुकुट वे, जंती माला, मोर मुकुट वे.
I choose Arlington because it has a poetry history, you know. Jean Flangen, who was Poet Laureate, I met her. I started going to Beehive Poetry, and it was a small group in Robbins Library. I started enjoying, so then I shifted here. Most of the poetry in Boston and Cambridge I saw was running in English, and there are so many already monthly poetry reading going on. So I choose Arlington. It is close to Cambridge, Boston, so people can come, easily public transport, and it has poetry connection also. So due to that, I choose Arlington.
Follow Global Voices in Verse on Instagram with the handle @GlobalVoicesInVerse to share your favorite poems or discover new ones.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of ACMi News. Do you have a story you want us to cover, or do you know about an upcoming community event? Share your ideas by writing us at the address on the upcoming screen.
For ACMi News, I'm Josh Guichery.
And I'm Paul Werlin. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.
ACMi productions are only made possible with your support. Visit patreon.com/ACMi to learn how you can help.